All right, now these are getting a little bit spicy. So we've got our highest difficulty proof that we're gonna do. If you wanna see more difficult ones, please let me know. But starting out, we have two pieces of given information, but none of them are congruent. But let's use the first one anyways. We know that BC is parallel to AD, and that is given to us. So I'm gonna write BC is parallel to AD, and our reason would be given. Now, I always encourage you to mark up your picture, okay? So I'm going to mark these with arrows going in the same direction. That means that they are parallel to each other, right? Now, this isn't a star, does not give us a piece of congruent information. However, it will lead to one. Notice how these are parallel, right? And we have a pair of alternate interior angles right here. And that's going to be angle CAD being congruent to angle BCA. And the reason for this would be alternate interior angles. I'm going to abbreviate everything, but it's alternate interior angles. That's a congruent statement. We're getting somewhere. We're trying to prove that triangle ABC and triangle CDA are congruent. We need three pieces of congruent pairs to do so. Now we used our first piece of given information. Let's use the second one. It also says that AB is parallel to CD. Now our reason again is given, and we can mark our picture. This time I'm using two arrows because those are parallel to each other as well. We can do the same thing again, right? If we were to kind of crank things up just a little bit, you would see that we have alternate interior angles again. Now I'm going to mark these with two tick marks, just because if we mark them with the one tick mark, we might get them a little bit confused, right? So we can say that angle BAC is congruent to angle ACD, using the same reason as before, alternate interior angles. Now, that is just our second star towards proving that our triangles are congruent. We need 3 stars to do so. All right, now, we need to look at our picture for the next one. Okay, once you exhaust your given information, you have to use the picture. So, I'm looking at this here, and I see that we already have 2 pairs of angles, and I don't see anything else that we're getting out of the parallel lines. However, the side in the middle. That side is shared between both triangles, right? So we can mark this and use this as our third piece of congruent information, right? CA is going to be congruent to CA because of our reflexive property. I'm just going to write reflexive in this box, which means that a side is congruent to itself, right? Now, that is our third star, and we can say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle CDA using angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. Works for both of them. Fantastic. So we can use our angle, side, angle congruence postulate. And that is the most difficult proof that we will be doing. Let me know if you want to see more.